Now, depending on how this project is approved, it could be 1 year to 3 years out. Now, they placed this stick here earlier today to kind of gauge the water levels and where we are. Now, the water's moving so quickly that just in the last hour, it's crept over this curb and into the road, creeping closer and closer to people's homes. The police officer was told that Alan Dillon had permission to go inside and get a safe. Now, that's legal, but that was also a lie. You can see the marquee behind me. This will be going on all weekend long with the movie starting tomorrow at 1. And the theater's owner says this has been great because the festival is completely sold out. Since then, they have not been able to find the suspect, but do believe that he is inside the building. You can see behind me students out on their balconies. They've been told to stay in their rooms and that no one is coming in and no one is coming out. Right now, the SWAT team is still out here and they have the entire area surrounded.
It's going to be a long process to recoup all the things that we lost.
But sticking together is what they do best. As the waters rushed in, they helped each other out.
It was 3 blocks to get out of here. And at 1 block, I had to turn around because my legs were cramping. And then when I got back home and the water started going in the house, I knew my wife, she's 5 months pregnant, she wasn't going to make it out. So that's where it got a little bit panicky.
It's the kind of fear Mendoza says he'll never forget. And as they look around now, they remember all that's lost.
A lot of the pictures, old memories, stuff like that.
Well, the damage inside is one thing, but outside, we're looking at piles as tall as I am, full of people's personal belongings, clothes, furniture. And it's not just here. It's up and down every street in town. Piles and piles of people's lives now in the trash. The destruction can seem overwhelming as the cleanup continues. But Rick Mendoza is forced to look at what he has left and keeping his family safe.
That was the hard part, just dealing with my family, my wife and my kids. That's what scared me the most.
It was inside the courtroom when the evidence was read out loud that parents covered their faces in disgust. Detailed interviews from little girls talking innocently about what their teacher did to them.
He pled guilty to 2 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse involving 2 different victims.
A guilty plea is only the first step for parents haunted by what John White did to their little girls.
This child indicated that before the game, White would pull the blinds on the windows and cover the window on the classroom door. He then put bandanas around her and her friends' heads, which covered their eyes completely.
White taught first grade here at Colleen Hughes Elementary in Normal 4 years ago. But it wasn't until his arrest in Urbana last year that word got back to this community, only to uncover his secret past.
Several children indicated that during reading times at class, the children would sit on the floor and that John White would ask the girls' students to sit at his feet and hug his legs and scratch his calves on his bare skin.
Parents thought their kids were safe behind school walls, but it was in classrooms where White played games with girls for his own sexual pleasure.
She could hear White preparing for the game, and it sounded like the zipper being either opened or closed.
For young teachers hopeful to be role models to kids, it's a disgrace to their profession.
It makes me sick. It's horrible, I think. It makes me really sad to see that kids have to go through that.
It's a stereotype, and I think male teachers coming into the profession have to change that.
A change that will take time as White's young victims begin to heal and a community works to move on. Seeing the smiles on their faces, it's hard to believe what this family's been through in the last month.
And they called us the very next day and said that he had a mass in his chest the size of a baseball.
It was cancer, and a moment that changed this family forever. They all shaved their heads to bond during his treatment. But it's not the treatment that hurts 10-year-old Landon the most.
Haven't been home as much often. And haven't been playing with my friends as often either.
His struggle put him on the top of the list for Mattoon's Shop with a Cop event, a chance to run free through the toy store and get whatever he wants. But Landon had trouble deciding just what that would be.
My mom asked me if I wanted to get anything for my grandparents, and I said I have a better idea. And I told her that I wanted to get stuff for the hospital.
He decided to help the kids just like him. When the Mattoon police officers got the news, they could hardly believe it.
It just makes your heart skip a beat. I mean, it just brings a smile to your face and a tear to your eye. I mean, it's just like the greatest thing you've heard in a long, long time.
Now, a free walk down a toy aisle is like a dream come true for almost any kid. But to this 10-year-old, he knows just how much a toy can mean when you're stuck in the hospital. He's a little guy touching the lives of some of the toughest guys in town.
To hear a story like Landon's, it makes you want to go out and just redouble your efforts. So, next year we want to take 3 times as many kids because there's good kids out there and they deserve it.
And I'm Amanda Evans. Jennifer Roscoe is off tonight. Last week, we first reported on a natural gas leak that left people showering in the cold. State lawmakers are taking action against one of the nation's largest mortgage lenders. Attorney General Lisa Madigan's office filed suit against Countrywide Financial, saying it intentionally deceived homeowners. She claims the company deliberately put borrowers in mortgages they could not afford. Since January of 2004, Countrywide has foreclosed on more than 2,500 homes in the Chicagoland area alone. Also new tonight, the University of Illinois Fire Institute is getting nearly $1 million grant from the Department of Homeland Security. Researchers will use the money to study how to reduce stress and heart attacks among firefighters on the job. The goal is to reduce weight and improve mobility. Well, tonight, family and friends are remembering a well-known voice in Danville. Jeannie Eisenhower was a longtime on-air personality and the mother of Mayor Scott Eisenhower. She passed away last night at Colonial Manor Nursing Home. She started her radio career in the 1950s and hosted a gardening show until she suffered a stroke last year. The director of Champaign County's YMCA is leaving. Wade Hampton is taking a national position with the organization in Chicago. Hampton has been with the Y for 8 years. Officials say the news comes at a bad time because they are in the middle of a $7 million capital campaign for a new facility in Southwest Champaign, but they say the work will go on.
A Champaign mother's dream of having a place her disabled daughter can play is moving one step closer.
Champaign and Urbana Park districts met tonight to talk about a place where all kids can play. Larkin's Place will be an indoor sensory playground designed especially for kids with disabilities, and it's the vision of one Champaign mom. Amy Armstrong has sat through many of Park District meetings. She's been trying to bring this project to life for the last 2 years. Her daughter Larkin has Down syndrome and a rare seizure disorder. Armstrong has devoted her life to her daughter and to this place